I met this waitress, and you know, I hit it off with her for like 10, 20 minutes, and before I knew it, my whole bill's paid for. She comes back and she's like,
your waitress at the restaurant.
She was my waitress at the restaurant. And she comes back and she's like, yo, it's on the house. And I was like, and of course, you know, thanked her and all that. But yeah, this is another meal and drinks that I've gotten for free.
But the other time, were you wearing the camouflage, dude?
Yeah, dude, it works, man.
Dude, stolen valor is a big deal. It's not just free drinks, dude. Food.
Hoagie time, what's up, man? How are you?
This
Good
fucker.
to see you, man. Oh, another free meal, man. It works. It works. What's up, buddy?
Thank
HD, what's up, brother? What's up? Sometimes you just bum rushes the show.
Yeah, pardon his
like
reach.
Public Enemy.
What, this thing hasn't been on? God damn it.
Oh, how do we
one
do this?
fucking job.
I know, I fucked it up.
That's all right. We keep going. Keep going.
Let's see how it's done.
It's great to be back.
How was
what inputs the Pornhub feed, dude? Don't tell me there isn't one.
Remember back in the day, like Spice?
Yeah,
and you would
Channel
see, like,
95.
The squiggly, like kids these days don't understand like the squiggly lines and having to like get in get in what you can when you can. Oh my God, there'd be like a 15-second like clip where you saw like, oh man, those were the days.
Like our brains learned how to unsquiggle after a while and like make sense of it. It's like reading a foreign language or something. Just untwisting it and just making sense.
It's how, like, you know, I compare it to like code breakers. Code,
very much
like
so.
World War I, where we're like, how did they fucking learn like this Navajo thing without this background and that? But eventually,
people these days are like, how does AI do all this crazy shit, dude? 1993, we were just like, meh.
He played basketball every day. That's why he did that crazy
puns
shit.
Already. Puns,
that's why he did that crazy shit on the
artificial intelligence, Mike. These stolen valor guys,
dude,
HD.
Man,
Jesus, dude, porn that wasn't scrambled wasn't that much better then either. Let's be serious. It really wasn't that sexy.
No, and did you know there's a big shift from tits to ass in the last 5-10 years?
Interesting.
Yeah, huge shift. I mean, the tits were the only thing that existed back, you know, in the 1990s. Now in the you know, where are we at? 2023. It's all ass. Everything's shifted. If you go down to like some of our gigs down the shore, like the Carousel and La Costa and places we played.
They'd be flashing, now they're mooning. I have noticed that.
Well,
over the
they
years.
don't wear bras. Everything's like this kind of like side boob thing, and it's kind of in to be small, but you got to be packing that heat in the back.
Exactly. Yeah. The dumper has to make up for that. I like the side boob look because it's so like, I don't care if my tit falls out. It's sexy. Right. It's real free. I like that.
It's free. It's like our version of Woodstock. But yeah, the ass is everything. You know, it's a big thing now.
Speaking of that, I went down a YouTube rabbit hole like I often do.
Yeah.
You guys know that.
This is just every day.
Yeah, every day. Twice, you know, multiple
2
times.
hours from now.
So I'm watching a little bit of Elvis Costello's set from Woodstock.
You mean Declan McManus?
Declan McManus, good one. I'm watching a little bit of his Woodstock '99 set. It's him acoustic with his piano player, and it's awesome. Yeah, it's so good.
Distinct voice.
So, speaking of the tits for our Woodstock, the second or third song, he starts strumming the chords. He's like, "This is a song." I'm not going to do the accent, but he goes, "This is a song for my grandmother, who had Alzheimer's, and I wrote this song for her." And what?
COVID.
And COVID. Yeah.
And COVID.
yeah. He prophesized COVID 22 years before it came out. And he goes, you know, and I wrote this song for her when her mind was in a place that I'd rather it wasn't at. And he goes into Veronica. Is it all in that pretty little head of yours? Yeah, and it's about his grandmother with dementia.
No
Do
shit.
You suppose that waiting hand on
Veronica, the classic song Veronica by Elvis Costello, is about his dementia with his grandmother.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's singing this song, and he gets to, and it's beautiful, and he gets to like the chorus, and it's very touching. This song about his, and it just shows the crowd, and randomly there's just a topless chick singing along. And it's like, why are your tits out? There's nothing rocking about this at all.
Yeah,
it's super like lighthearted, and it's mellow, and it's about his grandmother with dementia.
And that's
tits out singing.
That's a dangerous move in Woodstock '99 because it's been reported since there was a very dangerous kind of like angry vibe at Woodstock '99 where like you know it wasn't the peace and love of the 60s and '69. This version was more like, you know, because Fred Durst and Korn, like it was kind of meatheady and they were kind of there to mosh pit kind of thing, so they didn't have that. So to just be topless like that, like, and that's very risky because she could have got a feel she didn't.
This must have been
sign up for.
This must have been the first set of the day.
Okay,
it was like noon.
Yeah, that's when
and it was very hippie and it was very like Philly folk fest with tits.
Yeah. and not
But if you
hair.
watch like Korn or whatever, or Limp Bizkit or like those type of acts,
Yeah.
You're seeing the topless chicks. You're just seeing they're on like
Exactly.
huge shoulders.
That's
You're
what I
seeing
was getting at.
brr,
Yeah, I was getting at
from
like,
the crowd. It's super.
It wasn't.
Super aggressive.
They were aggressive.
But I like how free the chick was during
Yeah.
Elvis Costello.
It's kind of funny what you said about Elvis Costello and how like a song like Veronica is written like you would never think that it was written about his grandmother going through the dementia thing. And I was reading an article today about the Beatles and how they could just pull a song out of nothing. Like Martha on the White Album was about his dog. A few songs Lennon wrote were about like what was going on, like the line he blew his mind out in a car in A Day in the Life. That was the heir to the Guinness, Tara.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tara Brown. But it was the heir to the
Melvin?
Guinness. It wasn't Tara Melvin, no, but Tara something. But he was the heir to the Guinness, and that's what happened. He was a socialite, and he didn't notice that the lights had changed.
Whoa!
But a band like the great artist and the great lyricist can just pull a song out of anything, and make it seem like it's not about that. You know what I mean?
Someone said in an interview, and I'm sure a lot of people said in interviews, they were asked, "Well, what's blah 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 song about?" Maybe it was Eddie Vedder,
right?
Maybe Eddie was one of a million guys that said, and he's like, "It's whatever the listener thinks it is." And she's like, "No, come on," and he's like, "For real?" He's like, I don't remember what I wrote every song about. He's like, it's just kind of fragmented thoughts and whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, but honestly, it's however it's interpreted by the listener.
Yeah.
The song could be near and dear to your heart. It could remind you of the greatest day like you ever had on the beach watching the sunset, whatever. Right. And if I tell you it was about my goldfish that died, then it wrecks it for you. Like I'm never going to say that because I'm not going to shit on that. Yeah.
It's a very smart answer from the artist because if you say what it's about and it's not what they thought, like it can disappoint, but if you can put it out there like it's about what you think it's about. I also
Baby Got Back is actually about the Iran hostage crisis. It's not about ass.
It's not.
No, dude.
Baby's back with the family, you know. After
there's many layers
troubled
to
wartime.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
About what was I saying? It was about it's okay. It was about songwriting and
we're talking about how songs come out of nowhere.
I don't know.
And how songs they're not what you think they are.
You said something about Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder.
Yeah.
Well, he also said the song "Alive" when he wrote it during his trouble. You know, he had a lot of shit going. A lot of artists and a lot of musicians have troubled pasts and stuff. He was having identity issues because he didn't know his dad. Then he found out his dad was his neighbor, and he didn't know that until after he passed. So he said "Alive," the song was like a real Daddy I didn't see him, but I'm glad we talked. But it came from a depressed spot. But he said after years of giving it out to the audience live, it
became triumphant.
It became triumphant, and it changed.
That's awesome.
The meaning to him, which is like, wow, what a song can do, and what the power of a song, really.
Yeah.
You know?
That brings to mind Smashing Pumpkins, their song Today.
Yeah.
So after mentioning Tara, this is a 1994.
Your 8th grade class.
1994 8th grade class, St. Joe Spartans. Also, shout out to all the St. Joe Spartans listening. And a special shout out to Kelly DeWeese. I know she enjoys our show.
I love Kelly.
She introduced me to the Beatles. I heard the Beatles in a car on the way to school. I heard Strawberry Fields Forever.
Oh, killer.
I was going in with Brian Doherty and his mom. Donna was driving us in. And it blew my mind. It was
classic.
It was so psychedelic. I didn't know what to make of it. It made me feel like dirt. And I guess I was talking to... Yeah, dude. And I was talking to some of the people in school, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I love the Beatles.
Yeah.
I'll tape, I'll make a tape for you."
Yeah.
She dubbed the Magical Mystery Tour.
She's a throwback chick, man. She's really
she's
cool.
great. So
she's
shout
really
out
cool.
Kelly DeWeese.
Yeah, and that's the magic of a song. And
but that year, so 94, our 8th grade song, we were fucking misfits, dude.
I know a little bit of this story.
Yeah. We would
you guys were a bad class.
Real bad class.
Yeah.
We were just so funny to each other. That there was 25 jerk-offs in our grade that would stop class with a huge fart, just doing wild shit, dude. We didn't care. So funny, dude. But 69 was the recurring theme in 7th and 8th grade. We were learning pre-algebra and
that's
shit.
clearly stuck with you because you make that joke once a week.
Dude, the football game last night at one point.
It's funny every time.
At one point, the game that was on last night, the score was 6-9. Not only did I think Lou DeFerrio, shout out Lou, reached out on Facebook and put that on my wall, but I had 3 people text me privately. Aside from that, including my neighbor Tom McPhillips. What's up, Tom?
Yeah.
But people see 69 and
Great.
They're like, yeah.
It's a classic.
So when it came time to come up with our official graduation song, that was going to be like our theme song for whatever.
Yeah, that
the
slow dance and finger.
The first one we agreed on was Summer of '69, and teachers were like, absolutely not. Like you guys,
what you're going to do with it. Yeah,
they were exhausted from us by this time of the year. We weren't allowed to go out of state. I mean, I think everyone goes to Washington D.C.
for the bullshit abortion thing where they make you pro life.
Dude, I'll get on that in a second.
Exactly.
But normally an 8th grade class goes to like Washington D.C. to see the sights.
Sure.
We weren't allowed out of state.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let us out of state, so we went to the Limerick power plant. Yeah, dude. And on the ride there, Matt Christie, rest in peace, Matt Christie. We were sitting. Matt Christie was my homie, dude. We were in one of the back seats in the yellow school bus. So even on the ride there, he took off his shoe. We found some rope that was tied to the base of the back seat. He tied his shoelace to this rope, threw his shoe out the window, and we were fishing it back and forth, fucking with cars behind us on the way. Yeah, dude, it was always something. So they wouldn't let us do Summer of '69 for obvious reasons. And then our other one was Loser by Beck.
Yeah.
And they're like, also no. Yeah. Like that's just not appropriate.
Yeah.
And I think we thought of something else, but we ended up with Today by Smashing Pumpkins.
Great song.
And to bring it back to what we were talking about, how songs can be kind of like misdirection with meaning or whatever. You can hear that riff and you hear the... They wrote that to be ironic. They wanted to make it the saddest shit. Like Today sucks, but like just be so... like just fucking sarcastic
about
Today,
that.
And that was the most candy sweetest sarcastic riff that they could think of. Like it sounded like an ice cream truck, and it was just so stupidly positive.
Good call, yeah. Ice cream truck, yeah.
Yeah, but that's how they went with that.
Yeah, I thought you guys also had picked, because I know your class because my sister was also in it. So
Shout out
like
Jody.
you guys were constantly getting in trouble, and as 2 years younger, I was like, oh my God. But I thought you also picked like a rap song that was real like dirty, like Today Was a Good Day or something like something.
Probably.
Real
dude, we were
thuggish,
loving
yeah,
that
dude.
one.
Yeah.
But yeah, yo, and I wanted to bring this up a minute ago. Brought up Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back.
Yeah.
And made the joke that it wasn't about asses. Do you guys remember his follow-up single to that? So Baby Got Back was huge. And they were like, obviously, somebody at the label was like, all right, dude, we need another one from you. Do you remember his second one?
I think he did a cover of Idiot Wind, Bob Dylan.
Yeah. I'd love to hear that. Dude, his second attempt at a hit single, I swear to God, dude, was called Put 'Em on the Glass. This song was about tits. Not ass. It was about tits. Yeah. And the entire video was just chicks taking their tits out and smushing them up against the glass of a car or a glass shower. But talk about showing range.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to take me seriously. This one's about tits. But like they when they showed it on MTV, they could only show it like after midnight.
Yeah, man.
Like it was.
I didn't even know.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
dude.
I never.
And how funny is that? Where he's like, oh, of course I've got range. I'll come up with something different. This one's about tits.
Yeah, exactly. And then he just ended. There's nothing else he could say.
Then he became a band with the presidents of the United States of America. They formed a band. He became their singer, and they backed him.
Wow. I
like
would have
Lump
never
and
thought
Peaches.
That. Yeah.
I forget what they were called
songs.
too.
Millions of Peaches.
Yeah. I'm not.
So they did like an album and that, but
yeah,
Sir
dude, they did.
Mix-a-Lot.
Like they collaborated, and he was.
Do you still cover that song, Baby Got Back? I remember
Not
that was
really.
like your
No.
big rap song.
Yeah, dude, I've got a. Maybe we'll link to it. I've got a YouTube video of me doing that from like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, YouTube was like in its infancy.
Yeah, it was
It's
probably the first kind of YouTube, maybe on your YouTube channel, right? You're like a young guy doing that cover, right?
Yeah, dude.
Smiling and doing your waddle.
Like I think trying to be like straight faced and artsy, honestly.
I've seen it.
No beard.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Better head of hair, even
Yeah.
though it was still real short.
Speaking of gigs and songs you covered, did you play it all this weekend?
I did. I was at the Fainting Goat on Saturday night before the Eagles game. I was there from
You ever
5
see when those
to
goats
8.
do that and they get paralyzed?
I've never seen a goat in person.
Like a goat will jump and then it'll just lay
How
there.
often are you in these situations where you see this?
I went to Millersville. I was often around.
Are there wild
cattle?
goats?
There's goats. There's cattle. There's horses.
Tell
yeah.
us more.
Yeah.
Ever milk a cow?
No, but that was the big thing.
Ever milk a bull?
At night, guys would go into Lancaster County and kind of, push a cow over a horse.
Didn't we
fuck with the Amish
Didn't we
people.
black out? Didn't I visit you at Millersville and we were trying to we at least went out to try to cow tip one night and didn't know where to find them? Was it that fucked up night where we saw Juggling Sons?
Juggling Sons at the Blue Star. It was a legendary club in Lancaster, but I was on ecstasy a lot.
You were on something that night, and you didn't even tell us.
Yeah,
You separated yourself.
Yeah,
it was such a wild night.
Yeah,
everything was a blur. We were so bombed. There was me, you, Jamie, and Q, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I remember I had this leather jacket I wouldn't take off.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
But that in college, that's all I remembered: ecstasy and like
I never did. I never did
the wind blowing. Ecstasy was a wonderful drug. It was everything you wanted to say to people or to your loved ones, your friends that you would never say. Growing up, how we grew up, whatever. You just don't say to people you love them and how much like you would say all that stuff on there. And in our day, the ecstasy had all types of junk in it. Like there was fucking heroin in there. There was probably crack. There was fucking every drug they just packed in there with this euphoric ecstasy. So you were on everything. And like years later, MDMA came out, and that was like the clean, like that the pure drug.
Oh, okay.
I tried it once, and I'm like, I like the stuff that had all the junk in it. And
I like the dirty smorgasbord.
And I remember I did it like often for 2 years, and then all of a sudden one day it wasn't popular. And everybody just kind of moved on. And I remember there was no withdrawal or anything from it. It was just like, no, you were young enough to not get hooked on drugs, I guess.
I can't remember why I didn't get into it. Like, even if I wasn't around it that much.
I don't think you were much of a huge...
I was always hopped up on Adderall.
Right,
I think we touched on that every episode.
But you weren't like the hard drug kind of guy.
Yeah, I guess
I don't
not.
think you were a hard drug guy. Like I think you'd have to be a certain type of temperament.
Pussy was my drug back in those days.
Love is the drug.
Yeah,
But yeah, Lancaster, Millersville. That's where I found my love of animals. But so you're at the Fading Goat. How was that?
It was great, man.
Saturday
from 5 to 8. They had a band on after me. I didn't stick around for it.
They often have.
But I think they forgot to cancel the band, in all honesty.
The Eagles.
Yeah, dude.
That's
the
right.
Eagles
The
came.
Eagles.
And, in this band, some of these bands that roll up, I never really stick around to watch them play because I like to big time them. But they, I get
Sit in the corner like this.
Just.
God. Oh, my God. Look, he's out of tune.
God. But I get my shit off the stage. They start packing up. It's just like it's 10 people. Like, it's like 6-piece band, like 4-piece crew, and you're like, Jesus, like, what the fuck is this all about? How are there so many people?
Many people, yeah.
And they're wheeling in, like, crates that are this high off, and you're like, dude, like, this isn't...
The older you get and you're in a band, I think it's more like, you do it, like, once a month, and you have your fucking jobs and all like that. They don't do it for a living. So, like, everybody's kind of in the band. They have like a singer that kind of shakes a tambourine. No one's worried about.
And they're boomers, so they're making like
they're making
twice as much as what they're worth.
Yeah, they're making 6 figures whatever they do. They already robbed our pensions and shit.
Yeah, they've already robbed our generation. Man, I could go off.
So everybody's just kind of in the band, and they kind of overdo it a little bit. I think it's cute. When I see it, I think it's adorable. As a working musician, that's lap them.
Yeah,
I think it's adorable when
they're taking joy in this.
Look, they brought all their equipment out, and I'm bringing like a guitar with 5 strings. I'm like, I'll get through this gig. I've gotten through gigs with 5 strings before. I'm such a poor planner, and like that. I've gotten through. Like I've gotten to a gig. I'm like, I just got to figure out how to do this.
Yeah, I've gotten plenty of texts over the years. You got strings? I got a gig in 20 minutes. We're like, you got strings? It's Sunday. The places are closed. A lot.
You always hook me up though, man.
Yeah, dude. I overplan.
Yeah, you overplan.
I am fucking terrible at real life skills.
Yeah,
like real life skills, real adult shit. Absolutely, I'm a child. I'm fucking terrible. I'm not proud of it, but I'm terrible. But when it comes to like gig shit, like I've got. When it comes to Poppy, when it comes to like strings, dude, with the eye contact.
String, yeah.
Oh man,
you would always.
When it comes to strings, dude, I'm buying 3-4 at a time because I'm not paranoid, but like I don't want to be in that. I had to have been in that situation once where like I was in an impossible fucking shit, and I was like,
bad
fuck,
gig or something. Yeah,
had to have been because it's ingrained in me to always have 3 packs of strings for no reason. If I'm like at the music store and something catches my eye, whether it's a battery for like my preamp or like a string winder or like even sometimes a capo, I
you'll
buy
get
it because I'm like, watch, I'll get to my car and I don't have mine.
Right.
And I'll get to the gig and be like, that's why it popped out on me.
And
it's saved me a few times.
And it's great for me, too, because you always have extra. And then me not doing that, like, you've saved the day for me a lot, and I really appreciate it. I've never really thanked you for it.
Are you guys string snobs? Like I
not
only
I.
use,
Not I. Mike,
no. I've tried them all. I mean, I know what strings I like, and they're like, they're not the $15 ones.
Yeah. Funny you asked that question. Elixirs, we can both agree, are the best sounding, but they would break, and they weren't as durable as the Diodaros or something like that.
They're supposed to last longer.
Yes.
I found that they really didn't. I think the best application for them, not that I do much shit in the studio, but I think the coating cuts down on the squeakiness when you're repositioning your hand on the strings.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're best used for, is studio situations where you're not hearing that squeak as you're changing your hands.
Right.
But I over the years haven't found that they last longer than regular strings, at least not for me.
Right.
I know the strings I like, and it's been trial and error, and there was 4, 5, 6 different strings that maybe I'd be on for a year at a time. But
I've settled.
I like the ones I have.
Yeah, I've settled into Diodario, which is
Me too.
And a light.
Me too.
And that's it. And I just go with them. I go in there, buy a few packs. But it's funny.
I do 12 gauge too. I used to have 13 gauge for a while.
Yeah, I've messed around with each of them, and I just kind of find that that's the best one. But that's the only thing I really buy in there. And you'll buy like the tuners and like the batteries and stuff. I just go into every gig like just frazzled, I think. And it's not like I don't like it. It's just like the way I go about life in general rubs off on that too. And then I'm in a situation where like it didn't have to be that way, but I made it that way.
It's literally the only thing I do where like I'm planning ahead and doing shit. Like I go, I'll show you,
Yeah, no,
work. I mean, like shit that matters, dude. Like I'm not prepared for it.
So dumb producer question.
Sure.
Like, in my head. So Half Dog has a winder, 4 sets of strings, a tuner, whatever.
He sure does.
You have nothing, and you're going to go walk across the street and ask somebody, it's like, hey, man, do you have a G string for me I can borrow?
Absolutely, I've done that.
Oh, okay.
Laura,
I'm like,
absolutely,
like
I've done that with Laura Lee. Used to play
like Down the Shore.
Yeah, Laura Lee. She's a big time cover, and she's very talented. Good originals too. She used to play at the OD, and I would go over like on a set break and be like, I'm like, Laura, I'm playing across. She's like, Mike, I know you do this like every 2 weeks. She's like, here's a string. Like it was to the point where she would actually bring extra strings because she knew I would. But I mean, I was cute and endearing and charismatic about it.
Mike,
so.
you're hard as a rock, dude.
I know, as hard as a rock. So like she would just let me, she would lend them to me. But yeah, I do appreciate it. It does come off like, like I don't care. Like you do dad me about it for maybe like a 10 seconds, but then you come in, you actually save me.
Well, Mike, it is Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what? Sure would do you well to
you always help me out, but you kind of give me the half dog. So.
Well, as long as you pick up on it,
my
job's done. My job's done. Fuck yeah. Get your shit together.
Yeah, man. Where was that? I was at Saxers on Saturday, and another good gig.
Love Saxers.
Saxers great, but the Eagles, I mean, that pretty much, it was good that we got any gigs in on a Saturday, because usually Saxers is the nighttime.
Did they move you up?
Moved me early, so
Mark?
I was able to get Mark, yeah.
Mark's the man, dude.
So
Shout
I was
out
able
Mark.
to get a gig in, and Sunday at Tavola, and Tavola was cool. Just
was it though?
Background music.
Was it though?
Yeah, background.
I bet it was.
I love gigs sometimes. Sometimes you're the party and you're the entertainment, and then other times it's dinner and all that in your background, and both are great gigs to me, because then you kind of gear your set list that way towards that, to where you don't have to like overdo your personality and you kind of lay back.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm hot or cold with this stuff, and like I've also had situations where like I'm kind of expected to be like it's not just music; it's also a show.
Sure, yeah,
a little bit. And I'm driving to a place, and I'm like, "Fuck, man, I feel extra anxious today.
Yeah.
Like I'm just having a bad day mentally." And I'm like, "Fuck, man, I'm not up for this." And I think we've both done this. Bailed last minute. I got a flat. Can't make it.
I don't think I have. I'm not a bail last minute guy. I know you have. Media one time, I remember.
Where?
The Sterling Pig. You
Yeah.
You had an anxiety attack.
Nah.
But you just weren't into it?
Wasn't into it.
Yeah.
Wasn't a full-on attack.
Yeah.
It was just, not happening.
Where do you play at Sterling Pig, though?
It's very tight. That's what was
that
giving
part,
you an anxiety.
That was part of it for me.
Yeah.
There was and I'm completely in the wrong. Like it's unprofessional of me.
Yeah.
But I showed up, and like it was just I couldn't figure out where I'm supposed to set up. It just really is not a room for music. I'm sure it's great. You know, I'm not talking shit on the venue or the people that play there.
Spectacular.
For me,
but I get
for me, I couldn't understand how I was going to set up with somebody like literally 2-3 feet right in front of me, trying to watch the TV above me, and it just felt like there was already a good enough vibe there that I wasn't going to enhance anything. I was just going to be like, oh, let me interrupt you to fucking play music that no one cares about anyway.
You got into your own head.
Yes, I got into my own head.
Because, you know, nobody, and I've thought this too, like, oh, man, like nobody, it's already cooler without me doing it. But that's just us being like, getting into our own head, because most people are probably just sitting there like, oh, cool. You know, but like I've done that before where like, I'm like, I would want to be, what they're doing right now, they're laughing. What are they going to like about me? Where really they're not looking at it from that negative way. We're just in a mode that, you know, that usually
and a lot of it has to do with the places that we play are not music venues, like a comedy club. Like if you're a comedian that goes on stage, like the people there, they're ready for it.
Comedy, yeah.
They came down here for this. They bought a ticket for this. I know when I see a comedy show, even if it's not that funny, like if it was on TV, I might not be laughing, but you go there with a heightened sense of I'm going to participate, I'm going to add to the vibe, whatever.
Right.
So a lot of the places we play aren't that. So it might be a bunch of the fellas going there to watch the game, and they'd rather hear the commentary. You know, like not every time, but like those are the situations where I'm like, I'm just getting in the way. Fuck me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And again,
well, then I plot suicide.
I totally get that, but like, there's just me who's like, oh, okay, I'm at a bar. Now, I'm not talking about a major sporting event, but like, if I'm at a bar and we're just there, and somebody starts playing, I'm like, oh yeah, man, this is great.
And that's usually the general feel.
That's the general feel. Like, also, are you going back to Gypsy anytime soon? Because the wife wants to do brunch again.
Gypsy Saloon. I'm not booked there anytime soon, but I'll look into that this week, and I'll let our listeners know, because I really like that.
Dude, that place is
Gypsy Saloon's really
brunch,
cool.
You know, and then you know,
this week I'm at that Westgate. It's my first time at that
Great
Westgate
spot.
pub.
Love those guys.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that Saturday night, 8 to 11. So that's my first time there. So I'll try to, I'll try to really pump my setup a little bit.
That's fun. Tight setup.
Yeah.
But great crowd, awesome staff.
Sure. Havertown's been good to me over the years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I checked out this spot. Have you been to Jamie's House of Music yet in Lansdowne?
My dad.
Have you heard about it?
My dad is a regular and has been for years. He loves it. He goes probably twice a month.
That's awesome.
But I've heard, it's right on Lansdowne Avenue, right over the bridge.
Yeah. Right on that bridge, like directly across the street from like where that train stop would be.
Other little known fact, I was born right there in Lansdowne, Nyack Avenue.
On that street?
Right on the other side of that
the
bridge.
Train stop?
Nyack, where the library is.
Really?
Yeah, that's where the Barclays are from, and I was born there. My father lived there, and still owns the duplex to this day. So,
That three-legged statue with the guy holding the guitar, is that a tribute to you?
My grandfather.
Whoa.
Orville.
Orville.
You guys remember Orville?
Orville.
Yes.
Jeez.
So the Jamies, I hear it's an awesome like live music, original live music spot.
Dude, yeah. So I went on Sunday. I've heard about it, and some people told me it was awesome, and I've been on their website a couple times trying to get a feel for it. It's very blues oriented,
right?
To where they'll be hyping up a show like Friday. You won't believe
it isn't segregated.
No,
okay,
dude,
gotcha.
no, dude, not at all.
Okay,
it is
good. I wouldn't go.
More so integrated
That's
than
awesome.
anybody.
I wouldn't go if it was.
Yeah. But like they'll be like, hey, you won't believe it. We've got random name I've never heard of.
Sure.
International blues artist coming through with the Red Hot Band on Friday night, and like whatever.
Yeah.
Small spot, maybe fit 40 people in
Is
there.
it at BYOB?
No, they have a bar.
They have a little
there.
bar? Okay.
Maybe you can bring. I don't know, but they do have a bar. They strictly pour draft beer from Conshohocken Brewing Company.
Beautiful, yeah. So Lansdowne has that,
which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, they have that feel of like a Lansdowne. It's it's one of the last liberal towns like in Delaware County. Like Media, Swarthmore, Lansdowne, like they're old liberal kind of like cool like artsy kind of town. So I know consciously the town of Lansdowne probably 10, 15 years ago tried to build up that strip of Lansdowne right there because of the theater and all that. And but yeah, so if you kind of take a walk down there, there's things to do. There's art showcase stores and stuff like that. There's music stores, theaters, and stuff like that. There's a record store down by the theater.
Let's take a walk.
Let's take a walk,
bro.
Mike, I would love to take a walk with you.
Why not?
Oh my
some
God.
air, pal. We'll get a cup of coffee.
Would you like to come?
Dude,
cup of coffee with a straw.
And we have an EMT, so in case we get out of breath.
The summertime, their farmers market, man, is awesome, man. Like, you just walk in there, and it's like you have people playing music,
and it's not segregated.
Well, that's
awesome to me.
Mike seeks non-segregated places out.
Yeah. There was a place, and it closed about probably 7 years ago because the owner passed away, but it was called Sycamore.
Oh, I love the Sycamore.
Yeah,
That's great food.
Oh my God, it was
the food
so
there was good, man. Very good.
Oh man,
Doyle's. It used to be Doyle's. Yeah.
Mr. McElhone, rest in peace, would play there every Thanksgiving Eve.
I saw him play there. Mr. McElhone was our teacher at Monsignor Bonner, and he was a cool dude. I never had him for a real class. I had him for like an elective, like as a senior, but he knew I was a guitar player and stuff, but he was just a cool dude.
I remember in the mid-'90s, we were all at Bonner at the time, and he was a great teacher. He taught psychology.
Was he a great teacher or just a cool dude?
Phenomenal, great teacher.
Really?
Great teacher. He taught interesting shit. It wasn't just reading out of a book. He taught us stuff that he was interested in, and it came through.
Okay.
It was awesome. He taught us about, like meditation. Like, it was psychology, but it wasn't like a normal
that
psychology.
nobody was talking about back then.
Right. Yeah. It was kind of considered like counterculture shit. Yeah. So he taught us about meditation, like Om and like whatever. Yeah. He brought in a biofeedback thing where he put it on your finger, and it would you put headphones on, and all those cute little things you do. You still make me smile after all these years.
Silly bit.
And the biofeedback he'd put on your finger, and he'd be like, "No, guys, just relax, and you would hear the pulse get slower, and he'd be like, "Ah, that's right, Michael, you're doing it correctly." Yeah. Couldn't smoke in his class. But
you can only smoke in the Dean of Men. Didn't you run into Mr. McElhone as an adult like a couple years ago?
Thanks, Mike.
That's a cool story.
I was going to transition there, but completely went blank.
Nice.
I drank a whole lot one night at Barnaby's Havertown, and I went back to my house. I didn't drive home. Don't be disappointed in me. I found a safer way. I know, dude.
Pussy.
I know, dude. But the next day, I was like, well, I think I was like trying to like get in shape for my wedding or whatever, and I was like, I'm just going to walk back. And I was very into walking.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to walk back. And it was a far walk. It was like an hour walk. And I'm cutting through the Lawrence Park Shopping Center. I'm like, Mr. McElhone, yo, man. It's Mike McGuire. You know, remember me? Oh, Mike, yeah. Oh, it's great to see you. And you're just a hello. And like, I start to kind of walk away. He goes, hey, Mike, you busy right now? I'm like, I'm walking to my car. He goes, want to grab a cup of coffee, catch up?
What a great thing to say.
I've only seen that like in the movies or on TV before. That doesn't happen in real life.
And it ties right into what we talked about 2 episodes ago about like taking time to like catch up with people and like, ask how people are doing, which nobody does these days.
Right.
But yeah, continue. That was
awesome.
Like,
sure. Yeah. And it wasn't weird. It was great, dude. We went into the Starbucks, was right there.
Yeah.
And I ordered a coffee. Like, I can't go deep on that menu, but order a coffee. We sat, we talked music. I was just finishing up like my album at the time, and he was like, that's great. He goes, I'm working on some stuff. And we exchanged addresses. I sent him a copy of mine when it was done, and he sent me a burnt CD of demo music that he was working on for a new album that never came out.
Right.
So
Any good?
It's the same level. Yeah, it's great.
It's
the same level, same caliber of the music he came out with in the mid-'90s when we went to school.
Yeah, I remember that.
And when he passed a few years ago, somebody posted on the Bonner Facebook alumni group, and I guess his daughter maybe posted, hey, this is his daughter. It was a family member. Thank you so much. And I direct messaged her. I was like, hey, like, ran into your dad a little bit ago, and he gave me a CD of songs he was working on. Would you guys like a copy? And she goes, oh, my God, like, we didn't even know about this. Yeah.
Wow.
So I sent it to them.
And you're fucking her now. That'd be the best. Yeah. That you bringing up Bonner right there, it just brings me back. Remember we just touched about how as kids they would make us go to that fucking Washington thing and just assume everybody was pro-life.
Oh, God.
Dude, and I won't get too far into it because I know it's a touchy subject, but like I remember being like in high school or 8th grade or one and being like, well, what if like, I'm like, this is kind of a loaded kind of like thing where they're not bad either. Like, there's situations where this could be like something that maybe kids just shouldn't be thrown a sign and told them, like, this should be something where people, but I think the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, maybe other archdioceses, but they kind of used it as like a thing to get the numbers up, and they would bring all their kids there without kind of even, I know we didn't know the topic. I know the one time when we were in grade school and went, had no idea what we were doing. It was just a field trip, and it was cool that we got to go on a bus. We had no idea what we were marching for. Later on, it kind of, you look at the kids. I saw there was something like I saw like we are the post row, and I'm not getting into that because it's loaded. And I kind of see, everybody's got a perspective, and that's cool.
I've got
but
two
when you're
perspectives.
kids, you shouldn't be just throwing a sign in your hand and told like, yeah, this is what you believe because you're Catholic. No, it's more loaded than that.
I've got a few perspectives on this. And like I said last week, Half Dog is here to speak his mind.
Mr. McElhone into fucking abortion. I love it.
Yeah. Enjoy our transitions or lack thereof.
Yeah, there are none.
I have a few perspectives on this.
Yeah.
All right. First off, maybe you should be attending a justice for the victims of priest molesting them event instead of abortion. How about we march for that first and foremost? B, all of those children that are on these trips would also be the first to sign up for a pro-abortion march. The kids are getting out of school and they're getting a free trip.
That's all it is, yes.
See,
for
the
kids.
Same people that love to talk shit on drag queens indoctrinating and grooming kids and blah, 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 what are you doing? These are virgin teenagers that haven't been in a real situation in their lives.
They don't understand.
And you are using them as just weight, as chess pieces for
your
own agenda.
They're being used.
And you're giving them signs, and you're acting like they have real life experience that gives them any position to voice an opinion.
It's tacky.
It's super tacky.
It's a tacky move, and I'm just like, And I remembered it being done to us when we were that age, and I just kind of look back on it. I'm like, man, can we grow a little more? Like, everything about society and life is, as you get older, you progress. You're a little bit better than you were because you understand more things when you're older and all that. But when I saw
maybe
that
empathetic.
Yeah,
no one loves the idea of abortion.
And I love that.
No one's pro, but understand.
Nobody's pro, and and it's more. It's got to be. It's case by case in a situation. But like, I just thought at this point, as we're getting like the schools wouldn't be doing that with the kids like they did then. Like, it just seemed like a move that maybe we grow out of. Like, maybe not.
Maybe
like,
these kids aren't pawns.
Or maybe they don't. Maybe they don't know.
I have to tell you this. I'm going to segue into the Bernard segment of the podcast.
All right, here's our weekly Bernard segment.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun,
my freshman year, I went down and did the thing at Bonner, right? And my neighbor, Chris Bernard, I'm like, why didn't you go? He goes,
Shakesy.
Why would I go? And I'm like, well, we're
that's
doing
totally
this.
how he would answer it.
All the teachers get on the bus. We don't do anything in school. I'm like, oh.
Great call.
And so for 3 consecutive years after that, me, Bernard, it was a bunch of Collingdale people and Alden people. We didn't go on the bus, and they thought we were pro-abortion. It's like, no,
it's just
teachers.
It's just a bad move to include kids and something like that. And I just thought at this point they'd be kind of like, all right, let's pick something else
Especially
to do. Chris, for figuring that out. Freshman year.
Look, these kids also aren't being offered any kind of sex education in school. So if you want to start throwing your hat into the discussion about abortion or not,
teach them how to finger.
At least teach the kids.
Teach them how to finger. Thank you.
But like, dude, like, it's so taboo to teach these kids about sex,
right?
But they're going to march about abortion.
Right.
Stop picking and choosing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like let's maybe teach them how to do their taxes instead of fucking quizzing them on the Beatitudes.
Exactly.
Like, what a bullshit.
Stop with the Beatitudes. Stop with that, and then maybe bouncing the checkbook. Not even that, because the internet does it now. But credit. Learning how to buy and flip houses and stuff like that, trades, shit like that. That's where they could be teaching stuff instead.
Teach them about sex and sexuality and stop acting like it's this taboo thing that doesn't exist. So maybe once in a lifetime in the archdiocese, kids don't have to learn from porn and train and run and train in the SEM.
To this day, I think
ridiculous,
it's like Catholic guilt in me, but something like sexually we were taught from a young like how taboo and like and bad it was it feels like a dirty thing. I don't know if it's like a Catholic school thing, like
the chastity marches they took us on.
Yeah, and
don't be a dip. Stop at the lip. Well, teach us about it.
And older, like I still have that kind of like old Catholic guilt. Like, is this wrong? I'm like, what's wrong? Just that you're a human being,
right, dude?
It's funny, but it's not like. I don't know. I think,
and that directly ties into the child molestation scandal. That's just so conveniently. Yeah. It became a haven for gay people that weren't comfortable in coming out because society wouldn't let them.
It's not gay people, and I think it's
all
important.
Of them.
No, it's important to correct you on that. It was a haven for people molested, like pedophiles. They weren't necessarily gay. Gay people aren't pedophiles. Right. It was a haven for people that had those feelings towards young boys and girls. They're pedophiles. They're not gay. Some of them were gay, but some of them were straight too. It was a haven for pedophiles.
Good call out. I certainly didn't mean it that way.
It's not.
But that also bothered me because like society, like you weren't allowed to be gay. So like, be like, right. Well, I don't want to just sit in my room all day. Like I'd rather just become a priest and just pretend that like they should be able to get married
because they were great. And those people weren't the problem. They were just gay people that were great priests and stuff. And then they followed the letter of the law, and they were just good people. The problem was that they harbored the predators, like the predators that went in there, like that were, bad men that love little girls. And then, but it was a big time haven for men that were predatorial to, and sometimes or most times. I'd be interested to see the statistics.
No patience for sexual predators.
But yeah, yeah. Oh Jesus. Oh boy. But yeah, it was for so many years. Yeah, so many years that it was a place where predators went, and they just turn a blind eye. I mean, think about it. You get in trouble for something like that, and they just like redirect you to another school.
And imagining pretending like being an active part of that organization and pretending you have some kind of moral compass now.
Yeah.
Like it's just ridiculous. Speaking of years,
yeah,
and speaking of traditions and speaking of things like that, I've got a surprise to show you. Tom and HT and I talked about this before you showed up, and we decided it'd just be nice to catch a natural reaction.
Sure. This is exciting, HT. Oh, my God.
Collingdale and Prospect Park played in 1939, and that is a game ball.
Whoa. No shit.
HT, care to speak on this a bit?
26, Prospect Park 0.
Yeah, baby.
26-0. Holy shit.
So what we think.
Wow,
finger it,
this, man.
Finger it.
Yeah, so what we think is when the high school closed, they had like the thing that they did at Prendy, like, grab some bricks or whatever.
Yes.
There was stuff left over.
So yeah, David Crosby, huh? Were you a Crosby Crosby, Stills, Nash fan?
No, man. Not really. Like of course, like I didn't dislike them.
Right.
Never fell down the rabbit hole. Liked the hits.
I read his book.
Loved the sound of the harmonies.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got more of a feel for him than me.
Yeah, I do. But it's not. I wasn't a huge. I didn't have all the albums or anything like that. But I read his book, Amazing Life. He lived a crazy ass life. And he had interesting spots in the harmony, because as a harmony, singers, there's the harmony, there's the, the main vocal line, and there's like an easy harmony, kind of like the fifth, or I don't
like the third or the fifth.
Third or the fifth.
And you're a harmony singer.
Yeah,
I'm
they're easier to find, but his part was always this interesting, like one that comes in like that blends, like so they were doing like the 3/5, and he was doing like the hard harmony. And if you really listen, every time I hear a Crosby, Stills, Nash, I listen for like that, and it is Crosby. It's always Crosby's harmony that's the special one.
I tried looking it up before, and I think I saw somewhere it's like the sixth. Like he'll do like the sixth or like the fourth, but he stays away from
like that
the
one,
3
like,
or the 5.
Yeah, like singing harmony. Like if somebody's doing that, like it would take me, like I could get it, but not on the fly ever. But that to do his harmony on the fly,
and that was always his thing, right, Jess?
Yeah, on the fly. Oh my God, like how to find that? But
well, he wasn't like he didn't become famous because he was so sexy. Guy looked like Gallagher, the comedian, before Gallagher, the comedian, was a thing.
He was.
That fucking flavor saver walrus mustache.
He was a personality in music too. Like I heard he was such a dick with the band, like a very fucking like prickly guy, always fighting with his bandmates, like a contrarian by nature. Those people that just have to be the opposite of what, like probably the whole band has an agreement, and he'll just be like, no, just to make it like that they'd have to stay. Like
no one on earth sings like me, boys. You got to put up with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like kind of like Congress, how like they all can agree on something fine, but there's that one that's like, no, I'm just gonna say no, just because it's gonna give me some clout. But yeah,
So
he passed this weekend, and the Geeter with the Heater, our Philadelphia's own, and your favorite DJ. Bring it up. Are you happy about the?
I'm not.
Dude.
Look,
we were just doing a handshake. There we go.
I'm not happy that the Geeter passed.
Okay, good.
However, I will make a statement that I feel very humbled
Glad.
that I was able to talk shit about him on our podcast while he was still with us.
I read his book. And it's probably I'm not an avid reader, but I just happened to say that I read 2 books.
Apparently, you are
in the last 2 minutes. I read his book. You Only Rock Once. It was awesome. He's had a colored life, man. My dad
tried
connected to
to fight
mafia and
him.
everything. Really?
Yeah.
Your old man.
I was like, "Yo, Dad, did you see your buddy, the
Can we
Geeter
get into
passed?"
your old man and all after or no?
What's that?
Can we get into your old man and his life after this or no?
Maybe another
Okay,
episode.
gotcha,
That's a full episode. That's not a little. But I'm like, "Oh, yo, your buddy, the Geeter passed. Didn't you tell me before you tried to fight him down the shore?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yeah, memories in Margate." He goes, "Yeah. It was like early '70s." He goes, "He was at the top of the steps with his bodyguards, and I was chirping at him for him to fucking come down and see me." He's like, "I got kicked out of that bar. I told them, fuck you." Yeah,
That's classic.
and like
dude.
that's how the story ended. But I'm pretty sure he left with 2 chicks or like something wild.
Isn't your dad like legendary for losing? Like loses? Didn't he lose every fight he was ever in? Is that true?
No.
Oh, I thought he was like he had a record of like 0 and
No, that's
75.
Smokey and the Bandit.
No.
0 and
That's
75.
I mean, I don't know, man. But
Yeah, okay.
but when I was a young boy, I got bullied on our block, and he stood up for me with the other kid's father, and he got fucked.
That's
up.
the one. Okay,
got
I
fucked
took
up.
that story
Yeah.
and I made it like times 75.
Yeah.
So like you were getting bullied and
It was
he
just
stood up
his
for you,
lone
and he
flip
got-
flop was
he
just
got
in the
his
middle of the
ball-
street.
He got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Not that it was a long fight.
He just
He got
1-2 over.
The guy thought he was balling up his fist, and the guy was proactive about it and just like socked the
just
shit
fucked
out.
your
I don't
dad.
think he broke his nose.
fucked him up so bad.
But shout out Dad for
man,
sticking out for me.
absolutely. Yeah,
Man,
that's all.
protecting you, man.
That's all. That's all.
Yeah,
that counts.
super cool.
But yeah, that's the Geeter and Crosby. But yeah, everybody's kind of with their Geeter post. Give it to him.
Everyone with their Geeter posts.
I'll give it to him, man. I mean, he seemed to have lived his, as the kids say, his best life for as long as he wasn't like an old guy like staying in every day. Like he was definitely out doing his thing.
He did what he did, and he became very successful, and enough people liked it to fund it.
Yeah, man.
That's
I like the shady connection he had with the organized crime in Philadelphia. Like, he was best friends with best friend. He was younger, but Angelo Bruno. No,
I don't know any of these
Bruno was
guys.
young, yeah, he's the Philadelphia mob boss. He was the gentle
no idea.
Don.
No idea.
Dude, you're the only one that has no idea. About Angelo
That's, and
Bruno.
that's fine. It's fine.
Before Nicky Scarfo, right?
Yeah, Bruno.
Oh,
and then
Nicodemo Scarfo. I remember he was shot and
That
killed.
was like the 80s, but the guy before him.
Yeah, that was Angelo Bruno. Yes, but yeah, he was. Blavitt was Jewish and Italian, so he had all those friends in South Philly. So rest in peace, all you Philadelphia dead people.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there'll be more tomorrow.
Thanks for listening, all you Philadelphia deads and all you alives. We'll see you right back here real soon.
I'm still alive. Yeah.